Professor, I have a question. Well, yeah, it was a question slash request. So for the final paper draft,
Uh-huh.
I was submitting it late, but it didn't give me the option to submit, so I never submitted.
So you have lost your time for submitted, but I can reopen for you because you're my favorite student.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the
Okay,
deduction.
no
I
problem.
wanted to do
Problem.
it.
Yeah, please remember me after class
I'll
by
do it.
email.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Honestly, I cannot do it, but I do it not only for you, for only students. But please remember, because I know you have a hard worker in your as a student and then other parts of your study. I know that you work so hard, so no problem, no worries about it. Please remember me, remind me after class by email, and I will reopen for you for 24 hours, and I will say you. I will
Thank you.
reply your email and okay. Is it ready just now for submission?
Yeah, that was the draft. I had it for a while, so I stopped working, save it. I got the draft, and then I start finishing because the time was going by and I didn't like submit
Yes,
anything.
yes.
So
There's no problem about the draft. I will reopen again for you. But
perfect.
after that, you should submit your final paper as soon as possible
Yeah, I'm
because
gonna
it
submit
is
it
about,
actually after the class.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it is about the final grade, and as the final grade, it's very important. I cannot suspend it
yeah,
other students' grade only for one person because I should
totally.
finalize the final grade. No problem.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, let's go to week 8 for 1 hour, and after that, we will go for the final quiz. Yes, let me bring it here. Okay, in this chapter, we want to talk about the employer rights and responsibilities. What are their rights and what are their responsibility, and what are our counter responsibility as the manager, as the leader. And learning objectives explain elements of employee contracts, including non-compete and intellectual property agreements, and define employment at will and discuss how wrongful discharge, just cause, and due process are interrelated, and discuss issues associated with the employee privacy, free speech, and whistleblowing, and analyze workplace monitoring, employee investigations, and other steps taken to ensure a safe and productive workplace. Understand the use of policies, procedures, and employee handbooks to communicate workplace behavior and performance expectations, and finally, outline approaches to employee discipline and termination of employment. Have you had any experience of termination your employment as an employee or not? Have you have any experience of layoff in America, outside America? Mario, do you have any experience of layoff? I have.
Not layoff.
Yeah, they say to you, thank you, Mario, but we don't need, I don't need you again in work. Don't come to work from tomorrow morning, for example.
No. So basically, what happened to me was that my permit expired, and I had to stop working for sure for like I don't know until I get it back. And the company was they were so nice that they hold my spot for like I don't know 6 months, 4 months.
Oh,
So it's
good.
basically I consider it like a layoff. But
Yeah, it's not a very sweet experience because sometimes they want to say you in a polite manner, in a very calm manner that sorry, We don't need your service at our company. And but it's not so sweet. It's a bitter, very, very bitter experience for the employee, especially in the times like Corona that when they say, sorry, we don't need your service, you know that it is not so easy to find another job because, for example, it is a coronavirus era and physical jobs that you should go to start your job, for example, at a store is not so common. Employee rights and responsibilities. So, as a human resource manager or as a human resource employee or staff, you should know something about the psychology of saying sorry to other people. It's very important. Also, I know that it is not the only time, it is not the only occasion that you should know how to say sorry to other people. Not in many cases, but in some cases, you should say sorry to other people. For example, when you want to break up your relationship, you should say sorry to your ex-partner that sorry, but the relationship is not so pleasant for me. Or sometimes, for example, when some people have some asks from you about something, your book, your car, and you want to say sorry, I cannot do it. It is not a bad situation, but it's a hard situation. Honestly, it is not so complicated. It is not so complicated. It's very simple situation. What's a hard situation? Because on one side, you don't want to annoy anybody and say sorry, say no. They want to have to give pleasure to other people, and sometimes you are pleasure seeking, and sometimes you are pleasing seeking. You are attention seeker. You are uh, approval seeker. These are the dilemmas inside internal dilemmas. It's very important, especially for the approval seeker and pleasing seeking. Do you know what's the meaning of pleasing seeking and approval seeking? Yana, do you know the meaning of approval seekers, attention seekers?
Not at all.
Okay, approval seeking is a very general, not disorder, but it's a very general problem. You do something when you are approval seeker. You do something only with the aim of, with the goal of seeking and receiving other people approval. You only do that things, not for example, for creating something good in your environment, in your society. You do only that thing because you need other people approval. It is called approval seeking. And something like it's for example, you do something when you want to be or to seem as a kind man, as a kind woman. It is called pleasing seeking. And attention seeking is you do something only when you want to receive other people's attention. These are the internal dilemmas, internal problems, internal complicated, psychological complicated.
Professor, can you give me an example, like from the regular life? What is the situation if I'm looking for a approval?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
In real life, especially when you are a mother, you are a spouse, you are a, for example, going to a company as a new employee, and you want to show yourself to other people that yes, I'm a competent, skillful woman, and you don't want to create any negative wave, any negative vibe in your environment, you're an approval seeker. The greatest, the most important, the most fundamental situation for approval seeking is parenting and love. In parenting and love, you are approval seeker. You always need your father, your mother approve you. And sometimes when you are not the same child that you were, for example, at the age of 12, now you are 22, you are 40, you are 65. I saw and I know someone at the age of 65, he was still an approval seeker. I think, yes, 65. I think his father was 90. And at the age of 65, many jobs, many works, many actions that he did was because of receiving his 90 age old father's approval. At the age of 65, he was a grandpa. He had two sons, two girls, two daughters, and others. But for his father, he was only a son. Especially in parenting situations, we see some higher degree of approval seeking. But in society, we have some pleasing seeking, doing something that show you as a kind man, as a kind woman. You want to receive other people pleasant, please. And the third part is attention seeking. Attention seeking in some situations like entertainment, which is very ordinary that you can see, for example, attention seeking from the superstars, especially in the part of, for example, some sexual appearances, for example, in from Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is the symbol of attention seeking with a very specific positions. She is saying other people, please give me an attention. I am your mind star. Okay, as a job, no problem.
I-
It is her job, attention seeking. But ordinary, when you are an attention seeker in your private life, you are always your sadness, your happiness, your goodness, your badness, your mind, your mood, everything is everything in you is related to attention of other people, especially significant others, people who are basically significant in your life, like your wife, like your brother, like your mother, like your sister, like your husband, like your children, like your boss, family members, or if you are from a minority like me, your minority members. It's very important to pay attention that, wow, such a professor he is. If they don't say me, oh, such a professor you are, I will go somewhere and say, yes, I have started my job as a professor, as a faculty in a university. In that position, I am doing some actions of attention seeking. It is not bad. When it is bad, when it is harmful, that you need it. If you like from attention, why not? If you like and you enjoy from giving some approval, why not? But when you need it, if you don't receive any approval, you are sad, you are disturbed, and you feel some bad mood, some negative mood. It is approval seeking. Please pay attention. These are not so deep, but can annoy everybody, especially in the workspace, especially at the starting of the work as an employee or finishing the work, layoff position. If you are the person, if you are the employee who is being laid off, or no, you are the HR manager, HR program that want to say other people sorry. You are a good man, you are a good employee, but at this level of time, at this period of time, we don't need your service, and we should say goodbye to each other as an employee and employee. Rights, power, privileges, or interests derived from law, nature, or tradition. So, what are the source of rights? Law, nature, or tradition? It's very important. Many people think that the only source of rights are law. No, 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 no. Honestly, before law, you have many rights because of your traditions, because of your culture. For example, in Southern America, in Northern America, in Central Europe, in MENA area, in Africa, because of different cultures, basically, you have different rights, not by law, not by legal and legislation, only by culture. You have right. You can go to the court and say, because of this tradition, because of this ceremony, popular ceremony in my culture, they didn't give me any right, even in America. So basically, traditions, cultures, and ceremonies, and actions, popular actions, are the sources of right. But because we have different tradition, at the common level, government says yes, it is right for all, for example, citizens of our government, all citizens of our nation. It is the source of law for rights. And other parts is the nature. You know, we have some good principles in the uh, letter for independence of America. We have some good principles. One of the principles is the right of pursuit of happiness. It says that in America, every American have the right of pursuit of happiness. It means that government have to, not should, not must. Government has to help anybody in America to receive happiness. It is the human right in America. Sorry, I should do it. It says in America, everybody should have or has to have the right and the possibilities and the tools for pursuing the happiness. Is one of the major rights. And also, you know that we have a very long items of basic human rights. Also, every decade, every century, people add some basic human rights. For example, now in psychology, not as a joke, it is very serious, but people think that we are talking about the jokes. In psychology, we say falling in love is a basic human right. Falling in love is a basic human right. What does it mean? It means that at each situation, in all societies, governments at the same level that they should provide water, healthy air, and, for example, money for everybody, job situations. At the same level, all the governments should create a very good and suitable atmosphere, social atmosphere for falling in love. And for example, in countries like uh, Middle East, it doesn't make sense. That what do you mean that you say falling in love is a basic human right? Also, every decade, every century, new intellectual people add some new basic human rights. Statutory rights are based on specific laws or statutes passed by federal, state, or local government. And equal employment opportunity is there one of these rights. And collective bargaining is one of these rights. And workplace safety, it is one of these rights. It is your right. You can go to court if you, for example, your workplace safety is not done by your employer. And responsibility as obligations to perform certain tax and duty. Rights always is from your employer, and responsibilities are not only for employees. One part of responsibilities are from your employer, but a great part of responsibility is for employees. Obligations to perform certain tasks and duties. Also, as a general concept. Contractual rights, rights based on a specific contract between employer and employee. Employment contract, formal agreement that outlines the details of employment. We have two parts of employee contract: formal detailed contract, formal general contract. Also, formal general contract is not so current, so popular in these days, in the last 55 decades, 50 years at least. So in details, they say to you what they want you to do in your organization. And also they said what are your, for example, payment, what are the salaries and other things in the contract. Non-compete agreement is when prohibits individuals who leave an organization from working with an employer in the same line of business for a specific period of time. Please pay attention to this part. It is very, very important. It has a high level of going to court, lawsuit against the employees. You cannot work at the same level, especially for the companies which are competitors of your company. It has a high level of illegal, very, very important. Especially in America, I know from 1912, yes, from 1912, there is a very hard, very rigid legislation about it and against it. It's very important. For example, you cannot be the CEO of two companies which are competitor to each other. You cannot. This is illegal. You should go to court and sometimes to go to jail. But why? Because America's system, economic system, is based on capitalism, and capitalism say about creating healthy competition between the different companies. And if you are CEO, for example, because of that, it says at the same level. If you are CEO of two companies with the same parts, with the same duties, it is out of law. Yana, do you have any question?
So even if they have like contracts between each other, the companies, I cannot be CEO for both of them.
No. If two companies are competitors,
Yeah, and they have a contract. Okay, I can have this one guy who is CEO here and CEO there, and they have a contract. So there
now
is like the
if they
higher
know,
law.
if they know, if the board of directors of both companies know and they are agree with this contract, no problem.
Okay.
If the board of the directors know it and have a written agreement, don't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Not oral agreement, not verbal agreement. It is written agreement. It's very important. But if it is hidden, or no, it is not hidden, but you don't have any written agreement, you should go to court. Pay attention to the word. It says in the same line of business. For example, you are a CEO of an organization, not only CEO, other lines of business also included. For example, you are working at a counselor, economic counselor, financial counselor in a company, and at the same time, you are CEO of other companies, which is the competitor. Pay attention to the title. It is non-compete agreement. Non-compete agreement. The keywords about competition. Why? Because of it's very popular, very current in America. If you want to go to a meeting, only very, very popular meeting. For example, the first day I came only for very informal interview. It was not formal, informal interview. Go to meeting and, for example, visit the CEO, visit the president and CEO and other, for example, board members of CalMU. It was my first meeting that I wanted to go to a university. They say to me, you should sign NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I said, sorry, what is NDA? They said, it shows us, between us, everything in the meetings, and in the next meetings, none of us cannot disclosure outside of the meeting. Even about you, if you as our future faculty came here and said to us a new idea, okay, and we didn't have any result from our meeting, and we said to you, sorry, Dr. Takavi, we don't want you as a faculty, goodbye. After 6 months, you see that, wow, my idea is in the market. You can go to the court. That I went as for an interview and I talked about my idea and there is no contract. But after 6 months, I am looking at the market and see my idea in the market. It's original from me. It is NDA, non-disclosure agreement. In America, because the idea is very, very important and it can be moneymaker, and you can read about the history of competence between different people. For example, now, after near 100 years, after near 1 century, uh, we are talking about the NDA between Edison and Tesla. Many people, many scientists, many science historians say that, no, sorry, the first one who created the electricity was not Edison, it was Tesla. But because Tesla was originally American and he was genius and didn't know anything about the legal parts in America, some scientists say, I don't know, it is true or false. But I am talking about this case because you see that after 1 century, some people, some expert in the field of, for example, history of science, history of technology, are talking about the NDA, non-disclosure agreement. In America, it's very important, not about only ethical problems. It is about the money, about the market. Also, some parts is about the ethics, but other parts, other elements are not about only ethics. It is about money. It's about business. And because of capitalism, capitalism system should protect you against the probable dangers that can harm you. Protection of intellectual property. We know in some countries, intellectual property and copyright is not a matter of legislation. It's very hard. One of the problems, I don't know that now it is a problem or not, but about 5 years ago, one of the problems between China and US was about the intellectual property. Copyright, for example, for CDs, for musics and other parts. Now you go, for example, to use the music in Instagram. Instagram says you in some countries, this music will be blocked because of intellectual property. And it's very good because the singer, the company has spent many monies, a lot of money for creating that masterpiece of art, for that masterpiece of music or other things, and you want to use it only for free. Also, Instagram says in some countries. So it is not done directly by Instagram. Instagram cannot block it. Instagram do it based on the intellectual property on the countries, like for example, America. But if you go in some countries, in other, for example, continents, I don't want to name some countries because it is out of my duty, but you can find very free and out of charge without any copyrights. Also, people cannot work in a good with a good money making in those areas of work because they work but they will not receive any payment because there is no intellectual property right to keep trade secret confidential. Because of that, it says that if you are at the same line of business in one company, you cannot go to other company at the same line of business. Why? Because the trade secret confidentials. You should keep trade secrets confidential. It is something like psychotherapy. In psychotherapy, we receive some information from people which are very, very important and sometimes very private. We have a book about 700 pages about the ethics of psychotherapy. We totally passed three final general exam, which are very heavy exam, as a doctor, for example, of PhD of psychology in America. One of these major three exams is about the ethics. We only passed three exams. Also, all of these three exams are very heavy, I know. One of these three is about exam. It shows that it's about ethics. It shows that ethics is very important here. As a psychotherapist, you only can, for example, talk about the suicide or some hurting other people's. Regularly, you cannot talk about other people. Confidentiality is the first step for any type of counseling or psychotherapy. Right to have employee bring business opportunities to the employer first before pursuing them elsewhere, and common law copyright for works and other documents prepared by employee for their employers. The other part, other item, next item is employment contract clauses, non privacy agreements, non solicitation of current employees, and intellectual property and trade secrets. It's about the non compete agreements. Because of these clauses, we should know that at the same line of business, you cannot go to the parallel, sometimes it is called parallel companies. Parallel companies, for example, Apple and Samsung are the parallel companies. They have a very high level, at the highest level of, for example, competence all around the world at the same line of business. And you think that one great major manager of Apple at the same time work for the Samsung. Sometimes they have some guarantee of confidentiality, for example, for 5 years after your layoff. 5 years. You cannot go to the other companies. In pharmacy industry, in electronic industry, in politics, it's very important. You know, after 3 decades, every 3 decades, FBI release the secret documents, high secret, because FBI says, CIA and FBI says after 3 decades, it is not, for example, highly confidential. Why? It is 3 decades. But before that, if you work in FBI or for CIA for 3 decades, you are monitored. Yes, you don't work for CIA and FBI, but you are monitored. It is not, it doesn't mean that you cannot go anywhere or do anything. You can go anywhere and you do, but they are monitoring you because you have access, you have had access to their highly confidential documents. Implied contracts, unwritten agreement created by the actions of the parties involved. It is implied contract. Sometimes implied contracts are more important than written contracts. Why? Because implied contracts show that how deep you feel commitment to your organization, how deep, how fundamentally, how profoundly you feel that yes, I am as a member of this company, and this company can be and should be and must be and has to be like a family for me, and I'm a family member. It is unwritten. It is like the commitment of your son, of your daughter, to the secrets of your family. It is not so regular to say to your children that my son, my daughter, sit down and listen to me. You should not say anything about, for example, family problem outside of the door. It is pre-assumed that your children knows about it. It is unwritten. It is implied, not straight, not direct. But sometimes your children doesn't know anything about it. Okay, sit down and say, for example, my son, my daughter, you should not talk about our family secret outside of the family atmosphere. So implied contracts are based on the traditions, based on the cultures, based on the common sense. When you go to court and say it is out of implied contract, it is out of unwritten agreement, sometimes judge said yes, yes. Um, if other party in the court says, sorry, judge, what is your document? It doesn't need any document. It's based on common sense. Affects employment relationship. It's very interpersonal. Rights and responsibility of the employee may exist only as an unwritten employee expectation about what is acceptable behavior or performance, and sometimes about what is not acceptable, what's unacceptable. Rights affecting the employment relationship. We have these items. At first, employment at will, or EAW. Because of corona era, in the time of corona, we missed the high rating of employment at the 3 or 4 month of the ending the year. For example, September, October, November, and December. Before corona, in these periods of time, there were many companies. For example, Macy's and Nordstrom and Walmart and Costco and Target. They have some personnel as EAW. They should come. It is seasonal hiring. Why? Because the high season. We have very high traffic of job load, and we need many people to come to our company and help us. And after ending the high season, we should say goodbye to them. Also before Corona. In Corona, there is no high season. I wish next year be something like 2 years ago. At will is mean it doesn't mean that you don't have any guarantee for your job. Yes, if they don't need your service, you go to the uh, unemployment part of the government, unemployment payment of your states of your government, and okay, it's not about the company; it's about the unemployment and other governmental or states or federal parts of paying for unemployment. But many people try to fix to stay at the level of the work they want when they go for EAW. Why? Especially for the newcomers to USA, it's very important to have a very, very, for example, temporary job in some companies. Also, at first, as a resume, and second part is about the talking and empowering the language skills and other points. Wrongful and constructive discharge, just cause, due process, and organizational justice. Also, these are the items that affecting the employment relationships between the employee and employers. Just cause and due process, especially due process say that about the time limitation. For example, we have some due process. Also, I know that it is not the employment relationship between the faculty, between the instructor and student. It's not about the employment relation. It is about the academic relationship. But we have a process. For example, our semester is eight weeks. Okay, now it is the week 8. Now you should, for example, consider your final paper. Send me a video, 5 minutes video about the final paper and other things, and also final exam and other parts. It has a due process. After ending the due date, I and Marcelo will say you that, hey students, due date is finished. You are now in the cutoff period for something. Something cannot have any cutoff period. You missed the assignment and you missed the points of assignment for the final grades. And sometimes you email me, sorry, professor, I have some problems about for my job, about for my family members or for Corona. And can you give me another time? I say, yes, why not? I'm at your service. But please don't miss the second chance. Your second chance may be your last chance, and others and others and others. Due process is not about threatening at all. It is not about threatening. It is about the commitment to do your jobs, to do your assignments in a pre-assigned time, in a prepared, in a predefined time. Employers and employee in AW have the right to hire, fire, demote, or promote whomever they choose unless there is a law or contract to the country from the employer's side. And for the employees, have the right to quit at any time with or without notice. Anytime. Why? Because it's at will. Sorry, I don't want to work with you. So it seems that it's a little better for employees, because if your employer wants to quit you in an EAW contract, he or she should say you that sorry, we don't want you. But you can not go to your job and say, I don't go, for example, after 2 weeks. Also, it is not without notice. Legally without notice, but regularly it is not without notice. A company says to you, if you don't want to come to your job, you should say us, you should notice us, you should announce us 2 weeks before ending your job. Expectation to EAW cases are public policy exception, implied contract exceptions, and good faith and fair dealing exceptions. These are the exceptions to EAW cases. EAW limitations. What are the limitations? Wrongful discharge. Termination of an individual's employment for reasons that are illegal or improper. It is one of the limitations. Termination of an individual's employment for reasons that are illegal or improper. Constructive discharge. Deliberately making conditions intolerable to get an employee to quit. It's another limitation for EAW. You change so hard condition for your employee to quit the job. Defense against wrongful discharge, it is put together acute performance evaluations, develop documentation justifying dismissals, and provide employees a written warning, involve more than one person in the dismissal decision, and provide written grounds for termination decisions. These are the defense against preparing a defense against wrongful discharge. We will talk about one of the limitations of EAW. And fairness is just case and due process. Reasonable justification for taking an employment related action. It is just cause. And due process means when an employer is determining if there has been employee wrongdoing and uses a fair process to give an employee a chance to explain and defend his or her action. It is due process. And you see criteria for evaluating just cause and due process. Just cause determinants are: was the employer's rule reasonable? Was the employee warned of the consequences of conduct? Did management investigate before disciplining? Was the investigation fair and impartial? These are the questions that you as an employee or as an employer should answer if you want to have a just cause determinants. And was there sufficient evidence of guilt? Were the rules and penalties applied consistently or not in short times? And was the penalty reasonable given the offense? Second part is due process consideration. How have precedents been handled? Was the employee asked for his or her side of the story? Is a complaint process available? It's very important. Is a complaint process available? Was the complaint process used? Did the company retaliate against the employee? Was the decision based on facts? No. Based on your taste? No. Based on your anger as an employee, as an employer, or as a manager, as a leader? And were the actions and processes viewed as fair by outside entities? People who are not working with us think that, yes, it's a fair decision. Why not? It's very important and very humanistic. And note that these are sometimes unwritten. These are implied contract, in implied contract. We are talking about the fairness. We are talking about the justice. We are talking about people outside the companies. These are not written, these are implied contract details. Because of these deep and sometimes in some occasions, these are very complicated, very, very foggy. Nobody knows anything about it so clearly. It is very confused, very ambiguous. The next issue is organizational justice. Fairness of decision and resource allocations in an organization. It is totally about the fairness. And procedural justice, perceived fairness of the process used to make decisions about employee. It is about the procedures in the company you can use. And distributive justice, perceived fairness in the distribution of outcomes. So in organizational justice, we have two parts. At first, about three parts, procedural, distributive, and interactional. Interactional is the extent to which a person affected by an employment decision feels treated with dignity and respect. As a manager, also, we have many inequality in organizations. In developed countries like America, in developing countries like some parts of, for example, Africa or Asia or Middle East and other parts. And southern of Europe, some countries like, for example, I think in the last report of World Monetary Fund, yes, I think Greek was a country uh, which was considered a developing country, not developed country. In many countries, in developed countries like America, in developing countries like, for example, Middle East countries, we see many inequality. Fair, justice, equality, honestly, they are not dreams, but we haven't yet gained the ideal level of fairness, ideal level of justice, ideal level of equality. We haven't gained, we haven't reached the ideal level. We are going forward and forward and forward as human beings. If we have reached the ideal level, you cannot see anything like, for example, movement like Black Lives Matters. It's a protest against inequality. At the same time, with the movement of Black Lives Matters was occurred, at the same time, other inequality, for example, LGBTs, lesbian, gays, and trans and bisexual people came to the street of Los Angeles at the same time. They said, yes, there are many inequality against us. Also, it is not about employment, it is a social inequality. So you can see inequality in the history of human. So the protest, the struggle is going forward, advance in giving and receiving equality. Now that's the final point. I wish sometimes we will receive to the final point, but the history of human is full of discriminations, full of sacrifice other people, full of these struggles for justice, for fair. Okay, no problem. We will fight for peace. We will fight for equality. Because of that, in organization, one of the elements in organizational justice is interactional justice. Interaction between other people, between, for example, employer with employees or employees with other co-workers. We should have some justice in interactions. Open door policy. It's a very good word in America for open door policy. Also, open door policy is very, very, you can see it in the socialistic countries like Sweden, like Denmark, like Dutchland, like Norway. These are the very, very high level of open door policies. It has a ranking. I found it in the internet. I think in the open door policy, America is the ninth or eighth country after some European countries and after Canada also. But before many other about the country was about 150 countries. They were ranked, these countries, based on the level of degree of open door policy. America was 8 or 9. Also, it's very good. It's a between 150, you are number 8, but you are not number 1 because of some capitalistic problems, sometimes close some doors, and sometimes open many doors. Also, many people are not so comfortable with capitalistic system. Yes, it is not so humanistic, I know. But as an economic system, it is very good economic system, but it is not so humanistic. If we are talking about capital and money, yes, why not? Perfect. But if you are talking about humanistic approach to distribution of money, distribution of capital, yes, capitalism is not so humanistic because many people will be destroyed during the capitalistic approach to human. Also, it is not very at the extreme. Also, capitalism, like socialism, are not at the extreme. Soviet Union tried to be at the extreme part of, for example, socialism. It destroyed. America wanted to be at the extreme level of capitalism. Also, it is moderate now. So, based on the statistics, everything to the extreme low or extreme high go to the middle level, because middle level is the highest permanent, consistent, and persistent part of nature. Everything, when it is at the middle part, at the average part, average is the most consistent element in the world. So we are not talking about the extremes. We can find the extremes, but naturally extremes go near to the middle part or middle level. Open door policy is policy that allows workers with a company to talk with someone in management. Unionized employees have a formal grievance procedure, and union-free firms can use an open door policies. You know, we have some union, we have some syndicates for many jobs. Why not? Some associations, for example, in America, you can find many companies that have a good power, high power, to have some pressure on the government. If you are now, you will finish the course of MBA. Many companies that will approve your MBA degree, they are not from government. They work with the government, not for the government. They are private companies. But government said yes, they are eligible to evaluate your degree. For example, as an MBA, as a DBA, as a psychologist, and other things. So you can find, especially in North America, you can find it is very important. Don't forget, in America, when you want to formalize something, you should have two things. For example, now I want to create a very new branch of psychology. I should have two things: one, association; two, journal. If you have these two things, you are going to formalize, to make it hard, to make it stable your job. If you have association or union or syndicate, or and second part is about the journal. Now it is very easy to have journal because everything is by electronic. You can write and publish a book only for less than $100 if you want, for example, working with Kindle. Now it is very easy. In operation, it is very easy. But in meaning, it is not so easy. You should have a good idea and prepare your idea and have a business plan. For example, it is about business, it is about therapy, it is a treatment plan and other things, very in details. Non-union firms benefit from having formal complaint procedures that are well defined. Again, don't forget, if you want to do something in your life, in your job, in your society, you should have triple D. Also, it's my phrase, triple D. It should be well defined, well designed, and well developed. You should well define your procedure, your idea, and after that you should well design your idea, and finally you should well develop. Develop, it is about course of action, action plan. If you do these three Ds about everything, especially in the job, especially in the ideas, you can say, yes, I am on the road of creating something new, or no, I'm on the road of creating something. Well defined at first. What do I want? Many people don't know anything about the specific goals, not about the general goals. Everybody has some general goals. I say, for example, Henry, what is your general goal? Henry said, I want to be a happy father for my son, for my children, for example. Okay, it's a general goal, but it is not well defined. Well defined, Henry says, yeah, these are my jobs as a happy father. These are not my jobs. These are the areas that I should not and I cannot enter. It is very important. It is very important that you know that in what areas of life you cannot and you should not enter. It is very important because these areas waste your money, waste your time, waste your energy. It is well defined. And after that, it is well designed. Yes, we have some components. It is my job. It is my parenting. It is my spouse role. It is my private role. It is my spiritual role. Well designed and well defined. And after that, okay, well developed. How can I do at the same time, or what are the orders and what the ranking are? If I miss something, which is my first ranking priority, which is the second, which is the third, which is the fourth. Why? Because I have limitation in money, in time, in energy, and in understanding. I don't have like anybody else. I don't have enough money for doing anything. If I have enough money, I don't have enough time for do anything. If I have enough money at time, I don't have enough energy for anything. And finally, if I have all of these, I cannot understand everything. Limitation of understanding. It is, I mean, uh, natural man. Why not? It is very natural that I cannot understand something. Because of these four sources of limitation, money, time, energy, and perception or understanding, we should choose. Highly recommended to study and to read the book with the title of Choice Theory by William Glasser. Choice Theory by William Glasser, rest in peace. Choice Theory is a book about these concepts that you choose, that I want to be a mental disorder. So, are you crazy? That yes, because it has many secondary gain for me. For example, seeking attention and taking support and other things as a person with mental disorder, for example. It is highly recommended, or also you can use it in your organization and other elements of your life. The last part is about alternative dispute resolution, or ADR. Arbitration has been using a neutral third party to make a binding decision, thereby eliminating the need to involve the court before going to court. The compulsory arbitration employees waive their rights to legal action until arbitration is complete. And peer review panel says internal committee of employees that reviews disciplinary actions and makes recommendations. It is called peer review panel by the employees at the same level that you work. And the major problem, the major issue in these panels is not about fairness. It is about non-fairness against the employer, not employee, because you see that other people at these panels are from your level. They are your co-workers, they are your friends. Or no, they are from other company, but at the same level. Sometimes it is not the issue of unfairness about employees. It is the issue of unfairness against the employers. So it's very important to be neutral. It says neutral, not bias, not bias to any side, not the employee, not on the to the employee. It is organized, it is shaping before going to court. Okay, any questions? You can go for 15 minutes break, and after that, before 7, okay, near 7, come to the class again for your final exam. During that 1 hour, also I am here, and if there is any problem, I can answer the questions. This is the password for entering the final exam. Have a good time.
Will do.
Have you entered? Also, I'm here if you have any question, but this is the password, justice. Such a lovely password. I want to show that you are the best students, top students.
Hi, Professor.
What?
I think I'm running into a glitch. Like my whole web page just went blank. Like I'm almost done with my questions, but like I think I got like 2 more questions to do, and like my web page just went blank. I mean, I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second.
Let me say you. Okay. Stop sharing.
I don't think I can share my screen.
You can share it just now.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, okay. Give me a second. Can you see it? Like there's
It's a problem.
like there's no question. Like it's blank. Like I just got 2 more questions to do, and it just went blank.
Which
And
question? Number. Which number?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Let me check it.
I just got like 2 more essay questions to do. Like I finished all the multiple choice. Like as I switched to essay question, it just went blank. Like I don't want to like refresh the page.
Wait a minute.
Like can you see my progress on your system, or because I don't know what to do. Like I have no idea what to do.
I see.
Like I literally have 2 more questions and I'm done. I just have. Is this like a glitch or something? Like I just.
Let me check the question. All the question, there is no essay. All the question, multiple choices.
Wait, what? All the questions multiple choice?
No. What? Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw 2.
Not all the questions.
Oh, okay.
Which question? Yeah, do you have this problem?
Like right now, I can't do anything. Like I just have like 2 more essay questions to do, and then I'm like done. But like this is just blank. I'm not sure if you can see my page right now, but like it's just blank. I can't do anything. Do you think I could just like refresh it and go back in?
Mm-hmm. So no problem. It may be. Is there any student here to have such a problem or not? Only Eric has. Mario, is it okay? Everything for you?
Yeah, all good right now. So far.
And Wayne, is it everything good?
This is weird.
Check it with the same page that Eric has problem. I want to know, is the only problem for Eric? No problem. After that, I will call university and Eric can take the quiz again. But it is a general problem.
Oh my God.
I should do. Yana, do you have any problem now or not?
No.
Is everything okay?
Yep.
Okay. Eric,
I'm the
no
lucky one
problem.
here.
You can just now register, submit your exam.
Okay.
If you have answered all the questions, you have some. If you didn't answer anything, okay.
Yeah,
After-
I answer all the multiple choice questions.
But you
Except for
cannot
like
submit
2 essay questions.
2 essay questions. Number 14 and 15 are essay questions.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Number 14 and 15 are essay questions.
I think so, because I saw 2 essay questions.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yes.
leave it to the end, but
Yeah.
like as I switched to like the essay question, it just went blank. Like I don't know what's going on. So like I'm pretty sure I've done all the multiple choice, but just not the essay question.
Mario, please check the essay questions and see that you see on also blank or not.
No, I'm actually on it. It's normal. However, mine is not 14, 15. Mine it's like the first and the last one. But yeah,
It's not important. It's not
it's
important.
fine.
I think the questions are always different with each
Yeah, it's not
student.
random.
We don't
Yeah, it's
have
not
the
random
same.
question.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, but yeah,
I think,
it's fine so
yeah, I
far.
think it's probably just a glitch. I think it's probably just a glitch.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah, just like, can you see my screen right now? Like, I think I did. Hold on.
Okay, you should cancel your sharing screen and I will share with my screen with you.
Okay, okay, cool.
Thank you.
There you go. So should I just log out or like
This is my screen.
okay.
Do you have these questions? Cost per hire is classified and you should have 15 questions, okay?
Okay.
And number 14 and number 15. One
As
of
a
them
question,
is this
right?
one. What workplace employee health issues do employee face? It is number 14.
I think so. I don't remember because like I saw two. I'm pretty sure like I saw two essay questions, but I just skip it to just kind of continue on.
Mario, please show me, please say me your essay question, number 14. Or every number is not important. Please say me the title of your essay questions. Read the questions.
So the ones that I have are what workplace employee,
And
what
next one,
workplace, yeah,
and next one.
describe three
Alternative dispute resolution ADR process that are commonly used. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's correct. The question is from. Okay, Eric, it is a technical problem. I think also it's a technical problem because other
I
students.
appreciate it.
Okay. No, if I can do it anything for you, no worries at all. No worries.
Okay, okay, good
But
to know.
I don't know what to do to become technical. It's not in my proficiency to do anything about the Moodle. But please, you do just now subscribe, submit your quizzes, every quiz
Uh-huh.
that you have done. And tomorrow, please send an email to the LMS director of the university and say,
Okay.
I have this problem. Also, I have another problem option. You
Uh-huh.
can see here. Can you see my? Page?
Yeah, I can barely see. It's like really tiny.
Please write the question. What workplace employee health issues
Hold on, give me a
do
second.
employers face?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
What workplace employee
Workplace employee
health issues
has issues.
employers face?
Employers
Face.
face. Okay, so what workplace employee has
Can
issues
you see
employers
it?
face?
Can you see it now?
Wait.
Can you see my screen?
Oh
just
yeah,
now?
yeah, perfect. I can see
What
it perfect.
workplace employee health issues do workplace in one
Okay, health
question?
issues. Health issues. Workplace employee.
And the next question is this one. Let me enlarge. Describe 3 alternative dispute resolution ADR processes that are commonly used.
Give me a second.
Write it. Describe 3 alternative dispute resolution ADR processes that are commonly used. Okay.
All right, I got it.
Please, if your Moodle doesn't work properly, please answer these questions and just now email to me your answers. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm
No
done
worries
with all
at all.
the multiple
No
choice
worries at
already.
all. Just do
Okay,
the
awesome.
thing and I say you. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm here again.
Awesome.
Professor, I'm done. So can I leave? Okay.
Have you finished?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Hi, Professor.
Eric, do you have any question?
Yes. Do you know the minimum word count for essay questions? Is there like a minimum word count or?
It's not important. It's just about, for example, 100 words. It's not about the words. It's about the correct answer and
Okay.
description.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
The content is for me, not form. It's not
Okay.
about the words of, for example, answering. It is important.
Right. Okay.
Content, right content at the level of MBA students. Your
Okay.
thinking is important.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.